I witnessed my first murder at 12 years old.
I could just hear like bodies hitting the walls, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody was in there getting thrown around and my mother screaming saying call the police.
I done seen people get spilt in front of me.
We just driving off and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop.
You're always been awakened by like gun shootings.
My mom and stepdad used to sell drugs out the house.
That's how it is in the hood, you know?
When I hear the door open, you know, it's like, you know, I jump.
I mean, all you really saw was violence.
The police were always at my apartments.
It was just like being in the jungle.
Gotta know how to survive.
It's either killed or be killed.
You feel nobody don't care for you. You know, it's even worse when you feel that your parents don't.
Before I was born, I was in a broken home. My dad, my mom were already separated.
My grandma had adopted me.
My mom was a single parent.
The only time I would really even see my father was when he was at the house looking for food.
The streets showed me more love than my dad really did.
You know, I had to teach myself because, you know, I didn't have nobody.
They parents don't love them, some just don't care. So they go out there to the streets and find love from other people, like gangs and stuff. They find love from them.
I learned about sex from the streets. I learned about drugs, drug use, how to sell drugs. I learned how to fight from the streets. I mean, they taught me almost everything I knew at that time.
You had no options but to turn to the streets because where else you gonna go? Where else you gonna go?
I witnessed my first murder at 12 years old. I got 2 counts of aggravated robbery at the age of 16 and was sentenced to 3 years. I never thought I'd see 21. Growing up where I came from, I mean, all you really saw was violence. You saw a lot of gang-related activity. You saw a lot of drug dealing. You saw a lot of broken home families. And you just saw a lot of people that really just didn't care.
I did my first robbery in the 4th grade. You're in the 4th grade, you don't know any better. You're out there robbing your own school. That's pretty much telling you that I didn't really have guidance growing up. 2 guys just come from behind and they ended up shooting my uncle. It wasn't a pleasant sight. I was scared. Like I don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Man, growing up, I heard so much. People telling me I'm never gonna graduate. Other people told me I'm never gonna be any better than my dad. I'm gonna end up in jail. I'm not gonna do anything with my life. I'm not going anywhere in life. Like a kid, a 14-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid, that just, you don't know how that makes you feel. All I had to do was be in the streets, selling drugs, robbing people, doing what I wanted to do because I didn't have any motivation. It's a code that you live on the streets. You know, you have to fight to show that you have heart. You have to rob, you have to steal, you have to sell drugs to show other people that you're, it's like when you go to school and you're trying to graduate and you have to go through those grades to get all the way to graduation. In the streets, you have to go to certain stages to get all the way to the top and one day just run your own neighborhood.
When I was in junior high, at age 13, where I just fell off, started off just looking at, seeing how everybody else was doing things, like getting money, robbing, riding in cars at a young age. So I wanted the same thing too at the same time. And my face was all over the news. I had sat and thought it over and I was like, I'm just gonna turn myself in because there ain't no use to running. At first they tried to give me 40 years and they had dropped it and just gave me 12. I did 3 locked up, 8 years on parole.
Walking through the streets, you know, walking through the apartments, walking through the projects, you know, it's hard to do because you never know if somebody against you or if somebody ain't against you. You never know if your parents might owe this drug dealer some money or anything, you know, they might take it out on you. I mean, I suffered, you know, for a long period of time. it was a point in my life where I just thought, I just give up everything because the peer pressure, you know, it was like so much pressure trying to go to school at the same time as a full-time student, trying to find food, trying to have somewhere to sleep. It was like things, I was thinking ahead on everything, like where would I be, you know, next, you know, and it's just to the point where I almost was like, this is it, I'm just gonna let it go, you know.
Mac kind of threw me a curveball because once he got up there, I didn't even give him a chance to rest. We immediately got out this huge board, and I put his name in the middle, and I wrote a bunch of spokes off of it and said, tell me all of the things you love to do and what your dreams are. And I thought I would hear, I want to go to college, I'm a great basketball player, is there any way you can connect me with people for this? And I did hear a little bit of that, but not much. What I heard more than anything was that he had a heart for acting, and he had a heart for speaking. So what we did was we started giving him the tools he would need. One of the things that Mac will tell you is he doesn't know where he would be had we not reached out to him. He wasn't given any opportunities when he got out. He was sitting around for 2 months just praying that he could stay out of trouble. And what's so awesome is that, you know, it started out with Mac, and then Mac reached out to the guys he went to prison with, which were about 4, and then we've met people through them, and then he's reached back to Houston, and now we have 10.
The first time I met Jeremy, he seemed like a really nice guy. He was very humble, which I like about what I look for somebody. And within the first minute, I picked up really good vibes off him. And then I started showing some technique, and I noticed that, you know, that he had really good boxing technique. And I saw in him that he has a lot of potential to be a good boxer, to take to that next level. Jeremy kind of reminds me of myself when I was younger. He just seems like a really great guy. And I look forward, you know, to being his friend and his coach.
I met Prentice, and I was immediately attracted to him because of his amazing, engaging smile. He's just such a sweet soul. It's just natural to help someone who is so sweet and has worked so hard. And when you hear his story about where he's come from, it's just, it's attractive to be a part of it. You just want to help him.
This all started with when I was exposed to the film One Heart. They said they were looking for opportunities to get these kids back in the workforce, and a tremendous opportunity for me to make a difference in these kids' lives. I was connected with David in Houston, and when he came in, he was all dressed up, clean cut, and I'm smiling right now because it put a smile on my face at that point in time, and I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't what I saw. You know, I'm thinking this is somebody who's you know, come out of a tough situation, and I really didn't know what to expect. But what I saw was beyond my expectations. There was another one of Mac's friends, and he goes by the name of Jay. I had the opportunity to meet with him as well. We got him started off and started off working in the kitchen, and he has continued to progress. I spoke with his proprietor recently, and he is moving down the line. In fact, they're ready to move him even further to one of our top stations. I hope someday when they look back that this was that turning point and that opportunity, and maybe they remember that day when they stepped foot in the door and we shook hands and sat down at the table, and that this was a turning point in their life. And it makes me you know, very, very emotional that already there's a big difference in their lives, and that who knows what's to come.
I want to be the last generation to not knowing, you know, where my next meal coming from.
I want to be a part of the last generation, live on the streets.
I want to be the last generation that live with single parents, be struggling.
They're hungry to be helped and for people to reach out to them, and they're sponges for for love and affection and growth and guidance.
I realized that these are kids just literally like I was.
When I was given this job, it was basically my way out the struggle.
I'm out here doing the stuff that I never thought I was gonna be able to do.
It all started with just one football game. And basically out of the whole football game, it was really support, and it was people that didn't even know you that were cheering you on and saying, we believe in you, we're here for you to support you. Just words that don't even cost anything. Motivated and started a story and basically started a movement to where I was introduced into a family that took me in and believed in me. And it's just something that in due time could spread out. And that's what I'm doing right now. And hopefully they'll do the same thing. And it just keep on spreading out. And it just keep on spreading out.